In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the front calipers on this Toyota Tacoma. Let's install these TRQ calipers. Let's remove the wheel. You can either use a thin wall 21mm socket or use a little pry bar screwdriver. Pull this cap off. Now you can use a regular size socket to get all the 5 21mm lug nuts off. With those off, remove the wheel. The first thing I would like to do after the wheel is off is to break the banjo bolt free. As you can see, ours is in extremely poor condition, and there is no longer a 14mm cutout on the head of the bolt. It should be a 14mm. I'm just going to use some locking pliers, hook them on tight here, and try to break it free with this. We are getting a new banjo bolt that should come with the caliper, so we're replacing it. Just have to get this one off. There we go. I'm going to snug it back up just so that the brake fluid doesn't leak. From the back side of the caliper, I'm not going to separate the caliper off the bracket. I'm just going to take the bracket off with these two 17mm bolts, break them both free, and remove them. Once this one's broken free, break the other one free. Watch out for the brake hose on this one. There's one. And the other. Now you can pull the caliper off. Because I didn't separate it, I'm going to have to pull the pads out through the inside. So just pop them out like that. You may or may not need a pry bar. Hopefully yours are not stuck. Sometimes they get stuck over time. There they are. Now we're going to set this aside here until the new caliper is on and ready to swap over the brake hose. That's when I'm going to quickly do the swap. Now I'm going to separate the new caliper, unthread these pins with a 17mm socket if you need to. I'm going to set this aside over here, and we're going to focus on the bracket, the area that takes the anti-rattle clips. I'm going to coat with a thin layer of silicone paste. You can use brake grease if that's what you have. You just want to make sure that whatever you're using is rated for high temperatures so that it doesn't melt once the brakes heat up. Just a thin layer, otherwise it will squeeze out onto the rotor once these go on. And you want to make sure you have the right side. As you can see, one side has a hook, the other side does not. The side that does not have a hook goes on the inner part here where the rotor goes, and vice versa here. So out of all of them, you're going to have to, well, find the right one. There we go. Make sure they're fully seated. Flip it over and do the same to this side. I'm going to take some extra silicone paste and put it inside the boot. I know that there is a little bit of grease in there already, but I like to add some extra just to the parts of the boot that fold. That's going to act as a reserve of grease over time as the brakes operate. You don't have to put too much. Actually, if you put too much, it'll just squeeze out after you put the pin in. Just a little bit. Work it in there, and then when the pin goes in, it'll kind of get all over it anyway. There we go. Work that in. Can't put it in now because it goes through the caliper, but I'm going to use the pin just as a guide to push that grease in. There we go. Now this is ready to be put back on the truck. Slide the bracket over and start in the mounting bolts. There we go. Snug them up. Okay, now let's torque them to 80 foot-pounds. Reinstall the pads, make sure they slide on nice and smooth. Slide the caliper over, make sure that these boots don't get crushed or pinched. Install the pins and just thread them on by hand a little bit to at least get them lined up and locked in position here. The socket that you need for these is going to be a 17 millimeter, and I'm just going to bottom them out. I know that the caliper bracket has a little bit of air in here, so what I'm actually going to do before I tighten those is with a pocket screwdriver, I'm going to squeeze this, pry the boot apart. That's going to release the air that's in here. Very careful. There we go. If you're not careful, you can tear the boot. Perfect. So now it'll spring back a little bit, but not as much. Let's bottom these out. "65 foot-pounds is the torque for both of these. At this point, let's grab some pliers, or well, for you, a socket, and break free this banjo bolt. Once again, remove it all the way so we can pull the brake line off. At this point, it will leak, so keep that in mind. We're trying to be quick here so that we don't lose too much brake fluid. Okay, there we go. Obviously, discard that. Inspect the hose. I'm just going to wipe it down to make sure it's good. Double check that none of the old copper washers stayed on. This is one of them right here. I'm just going to leave it on the caliper. My hose is kind of pinched in here, so I'm going to remove it. And it looks good on both sides, so I'm going to grab my new copper washers as well as the new banjo bolt. I'm going to put one washer on the bolt, stick the bolt through the hose, and then put another washer on the other side. You're just basically sandwiching the hose in between them. And then you want to make sure that you turn this hose so that the line is facing the right way. It has to swoop up and over this caliper. There's also a hook here that has to line up in its spot. That's what prevents it from spinning by accident. Once you have it lined up, the new banjo bolt is a 12 millimeter in size, so snug it up. Once you get it snug, it should stop leaking. 22 foot-pounds is the torque for this banjo bolt. That's it right there. What you're looking to do is basically just crush the two copper washers so that they can create a nice tight seal. If you're unable to torque this, just spin it about 1/2 to 2/3 of a turn. That should do the trick. Remove the old caliper and discard it appropriately. Pop off the cover for the bleeder screw here. Sometimes it gets a little stuck. Use an 8 millimeter wrench or socket. Break this free. We're going to let gravity pull fluid through. This is called a gravity bleed. Once that's done, we're going to perform a full manual brake bleed to make sure we have no air in the lines. There we go. We have a nice steady trickle of fluid coming out just with the gravity bleed. So I'm going to close it off, do the manual brake bleed. To begin your manual brake bleed, make sure that your brake master cylinder is topped off with clean fluid. Then you're going to want to have a second person in the car pumping up the brake pedal as you open and close the bleeder screw. So after a few pumps, have them hold pressure on the brake pedal and open up the bleeder screw. At this point, air and fluid will come out. Once the pedal has reached the floor, close off the bleeder screw and have them pump up the brakes again. After 2 to 3 pumps, have them hold pressure on the brake pedal once again and open up the bleeder screw. Repeat this procedure until no more air comes out of the bleeder screw and you have only clean fluid. Once you get to that point, close off the bleeder screw and top off the master cylinder with clean fluid to make sure it's full. Once you're done with everything, rinse the old brake fluid off, or the residual, I should say. That way you don't confuse it for a potential leak in the future. Cap this off, and let's put the wheel back on. Let's get the wheel back on. Start on all 5 of your lug nuts, bottom them out in a cross pattern, and then also in a cross pattern, tighten them to 83 foot-pounds. Once again, 83 foot-pounds for all these lug nuts in a cross pattern. And if your truck had the center caps, go ahead and put these back on.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.